Strike a Chord podcast. Music chit chat with your hosts Valentino and Amla Piriakaba. Welcome to Strike a Chord. Amla, how are you going?
Yeah, good. Good. My left eye is great. How are you?
I'm pretty good. My left and right eye are great. But yeah. Anyway, you had a bit of a situation before.
Yeah, so I could partially see out of my right eye. I'm sure it'll be fine tomorrow.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yes. Anyway.
Bit of an allergic reaction to some people. I mean, to some pets.
And some people.
Amla, I wanted to have a chat about teaching. You're immersed into it fully at the moment, into teaching. You're teaching pretty much nearly full time.
Oh,
yeah?
I wouldn't say. For me, full time is 5. I mean, it feels full time.
For you, it's full time.
It's 2 days. 2 days of teaching.
But it's the whole but it's the whole syllabus and everything. It's going through the whole system, right? The schooling.
Oh yeah, the school system. Yeah.
So how you finding it? Because I know you're a very free spirit creatively, and now you have to sort of like conform to the system, right?
So this is an interesting that you bring this up. So in the past, I did have to conform to the system. I'm very lucky at the moment in that. I guess the difference for me now is that I'm currently taking primary school music, but 10, all the year levels, 10 classes. But the beauty is it's through a charity music organization, a foundation. So I can do whatever I want with the kids. So as in like I can create the syllabus because
that's good.
I'm employed as a contractor to go to a school where there's no music available.
So you've got creative freedom.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's fantastic. It's great. At the same time, I'm a bit of a perfectionist too, and I haven't really taught in a primary setting in that way with 30 kids or so.
But still, it's still quite a big feat, quite a big job or journey.
Yeah,
even though even if you've got creative freedom,
it's a big job. I felt very overwhelmed. Obviously, with new jobs, I guess because it's different. It's new. Yeah. It's a whole bunch of classes. Each year level's going to have different learning needs. You don't know the kids yet. There's all these factors to consider. But I feel I had them the other week and I was really enjoying. I was starting to feel like a kid myself going through.
How good is that?
Oh, it's great. And you just forget to be playful.
That's
and
what I was going to ask you too.
I was becoming quite playful with them. And I normally teach high school kids and there's a bit more resistance there. Not with all of them. Some of them are quite playful, but I found the primaries were quite eager. Also, they're just happy to have me there because they don't have any music at their school. So I think that's the difference between a school that already has all the privileges and a school that doesn't, and they don't take it for granted and they appreciate it more. So the kids are also quite good.
You're not dealing with the realms of puberty and all of that. So,
no, and also there's no behavior management issues really.
How good's that?
Because they just want to learn. I mean, the biggest issue I have is that they get too excited and they just talk over me, but I don't mind that because they're actually really keen to learn. Eager. Yeah.
It's such a it must be such a breath of fresh air or a bit of a bit of a different approach, and it forces you. Does it force you? Well, I'll ask this question. Does it force you to think about how to make it even more interesting for them?
Definitely, and it's a different kind of, different cohort. I'm used to teaching high school kids. What I'm realizing with primary is that you've got to keep them both engaged. The
attention span.
The attention span, exactly. With primaries as well, they like to move a bit more. So I'm trying to break up the activities. Like I'm just trying to configure it in a way that flows better for them. Yeah. Like I'm still learning on the job, and again, preps are very different. The pre-primaries, they're quite restless, and I have them after lunch, so they've just eaten all their candy and they're a bit hyper and
that's an issue too. Like I've taught kids one-on-one, and I find that I have to change nearly every 5 to 10 minutes to keep them you know,
Engaged.
interested, engaged.
I have a question on that.
Go.
Oh, wait.
Go for it.
My question for you is, have you noticed a difference in the back in the day? This is my like viewpoint. I felt like that students or kids were more intrinsically motivated, and because of the advances of technology and everything these days, I find that the attention span has dropped a little bit. That's what I'm noticing.
I agree. But then again, on the other side of the coin is that when we were getting taught, it was like just you have to follow this and the book.
It was very traditional.
And there was a lot of people that actually dropped out and didn't learn music anymore because of that strictness. Whereas now technology can actually make it fun. Like
definitely.
Yeah, you can actually, you've got some tasks and some games that you can be a bit more engaging with the kids in particular, and you can make their half hour of a private lesson or an hour or whatever it is a bit more interesting, and they'll be eager to get to the next class, if they've finished this game or they've these tasks and stuff like that. You have to make it more interesting, but your job is a different kettle of fish because you got 30 kids. Right.
Well, it's interesting on the technology. See, I've found that that's been working for me in these settings, a combination of actual instruments with technology, and I've got a projector TV screen there, and there's really cool resources online. Musical Futures is quite good. I've actually just paid a subscription, and they've got different learning levels for like rhythms and things.
And they've got teacher resources.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
it's really nice. I'm doing like ukuleles and stuff. But again, on the technology, what I find is that can work with the private lessons too. I have like little interactive games where I have to read the notes as they shoot across the screen. But then I also find that sometimes the kids want to do more of the technology stuff. I'm finding that with a couple of my private students, and they want to do less of the actual playing of the instrument.
Yeah, I think every kid's different. Every individual is different. But I think this is where, as a teacher, you need to guide that, and you need to make the actual playing fun as well.
Yeah.
Like I had a student who was, quite very active with sports and wanted to do different things every 30 seconds. So I would split up like the half-hour session. You need to split it up like with him. I split it up a fair few parts. But I found that sometimes like the technology is good and everything like that, but with this particular kid, he wanted to just play and just make different sounds on the guitar. So this is where, do I keep on teaching the scales and the skills, or do I give them a bit of that, about 5-10 minutes just grab the guitar and just make sound and just do what they're gonna, because that's gonna make it fun.
I think that's important to let them just give them free reign on the instrument.
Yeah, free reign.
Yeah.
I think that's it's very liberating. It's very liberating for the kid too, because they're jumping on something that they're probably foreign to, or they're not familiar with. And I think that's a very key thing for some particular students. Some students just are happy with just reading or whatever, and they progress. But not everyone.
Not everyone. No, you're right. Yeah, you got to give them free reign as well, so they don't feel like they're restricted. Even yesterday, I had a private student, and I had a lesson plan ready, and I went, actually, you know what? Let's just see. I said, all right, let's look at all the notes you've learnt so far. She's like a new student, and I had like the flute fingering chart, and then we just actually went through all the notes. And I said, how far can you go? And then we just went, all right, try this note.
Yep.
What are your fingers doing here? And then she actually got up to a high G, like 3 notes from D. And then she realized, whoa, I played like 10 new notes in that.
Yeah. How funny is that though? Because sometimes you feel you've got, I don't know, with this gut feel or the instinct, you think, I'm going to change it up today.
Yeah. It was my mood as well. I actually just couldn't be bothered going with it. I just went, this is boring. I'm just going to get her to learn.
If it's boring for you, it's going to be definitely boring for them. So that's one thing you gotta I think you gotta look out for. Right?
Yeah.
But and even teaching for mature age students, and even people that are adults,
Yes.
you got to make it a bit fun for them too. You know,
Of course.
you got to teach them. You got to give them something that they can reach their target. When you reach that goal, reach that target, then you can, got something.
Oh,
like
yeah,
to
you got to
rehearse,
find something that's a little bit more difficult, but this is a mistake. I'm
Yeah, a
sure
bit
we've all made
challenging.
a bit challenging. I'm sure I've done it, especially at the beginning. Sometimes you overestimate or
Yeah,
underestimate.
I've done it. I've
and you give them a
overestimated
piece,
lot.
and then you
Yeah.
can see them going.
Yeah.
Then you realize, oh, that was probably a bit.
That wasn't the right decision.
Yeah.
Let's go back
Let's
4
go back.
pages.
We'll come back to that
We'll come
one
back
later.
to that. Yeah, in about 4 years' time. But you gotta, I think this is where
You're learning on the job as well.
you are.
That's what's great about it. Actually, you learn so much about yourself
Dynamic.
as well. And dynamics. I have to say, I'm learning a lot from this classroom teaching job.
You'd learn, as you said, like about yourself. You'd learn things that you probably didn't know existed about yourself.
Well, I learned that I say a lot. So I started recording my sessions and I was listening back. I don't like that word, so I'm noticing when I say and already my lessons have become more succinct and they flowed a lot more in the last lesson I had everyone, and I left feeling really good. Little things like that.
I've got something like that too,
Yeah.
and I do it on this podcast, and I hate myself for that, and that's why I hardly listen to the podcast for myself. I just move forward to the guests or to you. I say you know a lot, and I absolutely hate it.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Well, I say finesse to flow.
Well, you don't say it enough.
Yeah, that's true. I think you say it more than me.
Yeah, it's things, but recording.
Yeah.
So you record.
I've started recording the sessions.
That's good.
Because it's a new way of teaching for me, but I feel I should even be recording all my just audio recording everything. So it's you don't realize what you're doing when you're in the moment.
How often do you go back to the recording though after you've recorded?
Just once. And then I delete it because I have no storage on my laptop. People haven't been getting my messages lately because I'm running out. Yeah, on my phone.
You need to clean out your phone.
I cleaned it out an hour ago and they all came through.
you need some sort of cloud solution or something like that.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to spend more money on the cloud. It's already anyway. We're going
that's
off
a different
topic.
yeah.
But yes, I listened to it once
and then
it's gone. Yeah, I just write notes. I take notes as I listen to it.
Yeah.
I don't always listen to the whole thing. I get the gist of what I'm doing.
Yeah. It's good that you take notes. When I listen to myself, I don't take notes. I just think that's good, that's bad, and then I've recorded myself for nothing because then I don't have anything to revert back to. So
I learned this at uni actually. Oh, I learned something at uni. It's coming back to me. I learned to take notes and to record myself, and I've started getting my private students to record themselves.
Yeah, and taking notes.
No, but now
that's the next step.
Yes.
Record yourself, and then what are you gonna do?
It was more for them to listen back and go, oh, I'm actually improving.
Yeah.
To just get them to actually listen, get to the point where they can listen, where they are able to hear themselves while they're playing, which is something I never used to do. You're just playing, you're not actually listening to what it sounds like.
No, and that also you get to hear yourself ignore things too.
Yes.
Not only how you play, but how inconsiderate you can be on your own and when you're recording yourself, not being open to the obvious sometimes, and that's both in teaching and playing.
Oh yeah,
it's just sometimes you're just hammering, and you're just oblivious to things.
Yeah,
and you think that's not good.
No, even observing other teachers or people playing, like it's the same kind of. And I've noticed that I can talk too much sometimes, and especially with high school teaching and primary school, I need to just. I actually said to the kids the other week, I said, I'm sick of my voice. I am only going to say a few words today. Hands up if you have a question. Less talking from me. Let's just do this X.
Yeah, I'm finding myself in that realm too. I'm I think the most talking I do is on this podcast now. I do less talking. I think I've gone to that point where like you said, I can't listen to myself sometimes.
But also we assume that more words equals people understanding the content more. No, you got to be more succinct. I actually forget that less
Agree.
is more.
I agree.
Instructions, make them clear and precise. You don't need to go, when you read that note and then you need to do, and they're gone. They're gone when you
Yeah.
say, and when you, like 3 words in, they're
Exactly.
gone.
And I think we underestimate how they can absorb what you're saying. Sometimes we teach things like it's instructional.
Yes.
When you teach things instructional, they're gonna start yawning. But when you do things and you show them, and some people are better at visual sort of instructions.
Yeah.
And you think, okay, this is easier for me too because I'm actually doing it, and they can, absorb it. I notice that with my kids sometimes I over instruct. They go, it's all right, take it easy. They say to me, so take it. I know, take it. So now I just step back, and if you can't do it, as you said before, if you've got a question, ask me. And I think that's the best way because you got to let them progress in their own way.
Yeah, you can't give them all the answers.
No.
Why do we do that? We think we're
know.
helping them, but we're not. We're
Molly
not.
Put them in kind of walls sometimes.
Yeah, we
it's not the
assume
way.
they don't know.
We assume.
We assume.
How
we
bad
assume.
is that?
I'm noticing it. You learn a lot. You learn a lot.
Yeah.
You learn so much.
Yeah, assuming I think is one of the first things that I try to avoid all the time. Assuming, never assume.
Never assume.
Because there's something that'll get you by surprise and you think that you knew, but like with students, you think that that's where you overestimate or underestimate. I underestimate. Huh? Can't even talk. I assumed I was able to talk.
You overestimated your vocabulary.
Exactly right. You took the words right out of my vocabulary. But yeah,
even
it's
little
interesting.
Things. It's so interesting. Even what I've noticed on the assuming, when I ask a question to students, it's like we're all uncomfortable with the pause, the silence, if no one says anything.
Yep.
And I've read somewhere that just let the pause be there. There might be a kid still, we're all processing the information at different times. It's like, again, before you perform, you feel like you need to rush because everyone's waiting for you.
So true.
It's the same thing.
It's a good connection, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe sometimes you need to tell yourself, all right, stop. With Eckhart.
Yeah.
Whenever he speaks, or when someone asks him a question, you notice that there's a pause. He needs to calculate.
And he also adds an extra pause to make people feel uncomfortable, which I like.
Yeah,
exactly. Because he wants people to feel that space.
Yeah, and that tension.
Yeah,
I think he's stuffing around with a lot of people too. But doing that. I like it.
I like it too.
But that thing, like, this is where what comes out of your mouth sometimes isn't processed in your head, and this is where we can make some mistakes. But especially teaching, and especially teaching music, you need to go back and hang on. What is the best way I can answer this question or go through this method? Because they're going to take probably the first thing that you say, and and that's what they hear. They're not going to hear anything else after that.
You're right. The first few words, they're going to run with that.
Yeah.
They're trying to undo that is.
Yeah. Because they're going to assume that's the right thing to do.
Yeah. And they'll say, you said this.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're going to say, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
What an idiot. Yeah. It's a topsy-turvy place, teaching.
And you've taught kids and adults?
I have. And
what's the difference you find between
the dynamics?
Yeah.
I find adults, there's sometimes more work with adults than with kids. Kids, you can make it fun. You can, and they absorb.
Yeah, they absorb. Yeah, they're a sponge.
Whereas some of the adults, like myself, we like to just say, yeah, and we're thinking about what we're going to have for dinner, or who's going to make dinner, or where I have to go, take the kids here, and you're not fully immersed in the lesson.
Yeah, I'm a bit guilty of that.
Yeah,
even as
I think we all are.
Even as a student, go and have a lesson, and I'm thinking, oh, what's the time I need to go? You're right. It's interesting.
Yeah. The only thing that, and I think this is, I've had an idea in the past where I think for adults, you have to make it a social thing. So if you've noticed when an adult is social or in that having a coffee or having a drink or in a bar or in a cafe and they're relaxed, you can some people you can hear them, they talk and everyone's engaging and everyone's sort of like trying to figure out who's saying what and everything like that. And that's when they're alert. Maybe that's what we have to do when we're teaching adults. Maybe get them in that social environment, have a drink or have this or have that, and just get that flowing, and then start teaching him, what about this? And then I think it starts to correspond with their social sort of triggers,
Yeah, or even perhaps group lessons with adults, adult group lessons.
And this is why workshops.
Yeah, workshops work so well. Even that I went to that jam session where everyone learned an Irish tune or
yeah, that's right.
And that worked really well. Everyone was just really into it.
Yeah, I think workshops actually work. Workshops work. And it's a bit less stressful for the person who really wants to see if they really want to make it work or not.
Yeah, that's a good point. They can
because everyone's at every level. Yeah. So you're gonna, and that's where you'll filter out yourself where you're at and whether you want to really do it or continue. And we should actually do a workshop.
Yeah,
we should do a workshop
around just a jam
workshop. Yeah, making jam.
Yeah, I was going to say marmalade jam.
Marmalade. Awesome. Thanks, Amla.
Thank you.
That's a quite informative little episode, and I think it's going to help some people out there who are even starting to teach and don't know how to approach.
Yeah, just look, we're all making mistakes not mistakes. We're all learning. We're finessing it and we're tweaking it.
Developing.
Yeah, we're developing. We're going, okay, that worked. That worked for that group. That didn't work for that group. Again, different kids.
Different individuals. Different things. Different environments.
Different environments. Kids might be coming in a bit. All it takes is one or two kids who are pissed off at something that happened at lunch, or that can change the whole dynamic.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. So true.
So many variables.
It's as I said before, it's very dynamic.
It's very dynamic.
Very dynamic. Thanks, Amla.
Thank you. Oh, we'd like to thank our sponsors.
Yes. Again.
Cake Eclipse.
Cake Eclipse. This is a chocolate mud cake again with a different flavor. I'm not quite sure what it is, but we'll figure it out.
And Music Pro Services.
Music Pro Services for all your producing needs or musical needs and everything like that.
For emotional needs.
Yes. Therapy sessions, mentorship. I also want to mention your website, Music.
Oh yes, music.com. I need to pay the membership. It does.
Still going.
It's still oh good. I must have paid it.
Yeah.
It didn't expire.
That's right. And also the Striker Chord Instagram.
Yes. Strike
_A_Chord
_ I think you'll find it.
You'll find it.
As soon as you type in strike and the first underscore, it should come up.
That's right. Also, want to mention that the Striker Chord podcast is on all the podcast platforms: Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, all those things. So if you want to just listen to us while you're driving, pop it on Spotify and just listen to the banter and the musical chit chat, as we say.
Yes.
Where we're finessing the flow.
Musical chit chat.
I should get you to do that. I should get you to do that after the musical promo.
A musical chit chat. Do we want it to be diminished or okay? What vibe we can discuss this.
We'll take it offline. Thanks, Amla.
Thank you, Valentino.
Till next time. Ciao.
Ciao.
The Striker Chord Podcast, presented to you by ValentinoFlamenco.com and AmlaMusic.com.